Okay, I'm on day 3 now. I just took my soapstone, I sharpened it up with some on a sanding disc, and I marked this. And I'm going to cut it with a 4.5 by 3/64 of an inch. It's a masonry disc. I don't care. I've got steel ones, but I'm going to use these up. These work great. They're very, very thin, paper thin. So we'll cut that out top and bottom, and then I'll drop this right through, and we may have to bevel the edges and then weld it in place. And then I've got a cover piece here. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. This will go on top, and there should be enough room for this, because the original bushing stuck out about 3/8 of an inch, so that's 3/8. I wanted to go with 1/2 inch, but I think it's safer to go with 3/8, and I won't run out of thread on my bolt. I'm going to reuse the original bolt. Okay, I'll cut that and I'll show you what I got. Okay, that's what I'm after. That's a solid block of steel going right through from side to side. And I just got to clean off that paint. And see that? Give that a little weld. I'm going to V it out a little bit, and we'll weld it. And then this piece goes on top, like that. It's got to go on this side too. I marked it plate over here, plate, all over the place in case it gets rubbed off. Over. Clean that off, weld it on. This piece will be done then. I might give it a little paintbrush, and that'll be ready to go back on. I still have to build up these worn out parts here. Once I get the center all welded back together, I'll do this. And that should be nice, you know. Got ourselves a fully repaired piece here, better than the factory original. It's not new anymore, but I'm still going to drill a 1/2 inch or a 3/8 hole on the bottom side, just to allow water to drain out, and I might spray a little oil in there. And there's room to pass above and below this square block for water and air to flow through there. So let me weld that in and come back. I cranked up the heat because that's a solid piece of steel. So this done. I think I got a little too much heat, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a little too hot. Burning. Burning through, so I'm going to turn it down a bit. Okay, I lowered the heat a little bit. Come on, baby. Let's see a thing. That looks good. Sorry, I can't do both at the same time, so doing what I can, man. There we go, one side's done. I got to do the other side. I'm going to grind it flat. You know, I could have cut that hole with the torch, but ideally a plasma cutter would have been the best. I went through a whole cutting disc, but I think it's worth it because it's a nice clean hole. And if I went a little too large, I could have beveled this, but it was pretty tight fitting, so I beveled this square tube side. So I had that option. This is pretty solid stuff. You won't burn through that, but I'm joining something really solid, very thick metal to a very thin rusty piece, so it's kind of tricky to weld that. Well, we'll do the other side and grind it flat and see what it looks like. Okay, side 2 is done. Now I'll clean up that weld and I'll mount that. That's next. It's good. It's pretty rusty in there. There's some thin spots, so it's not new metal anymore. There we go. It's tacked on, and I like using the MIG. It's maybe not as strong a weld as the arc welder, but there's no inclusion, there's no flux. I've got the argon CO2 gas, so it's just pure metal on there. You just wire brush that paint, and you don't have to chip any slag off. Last pass. I don't think my welds will win any beauty contests, but I mean, the difference between a good weld and a bad weld is not what it looks like, it's whether it holds or breaks. My welds don't break, so. Not the prettiest. I'm not a welder by trade, but I'm happy with that. That's way stronger than it used to be. A little paper thin bushing in there. Just the other plow I have, it's maybe plowed a couple of years less than this one has, and it's got some cracks in it too, so it will have to be done eventually, but for now I'm not going to do anything to it. So I'm going to clean this up, wire brush it, sand it, and we'll get in there and we'll raise that up. That's, because this center part had so much wear and play and there was movement there, I think these ends wore out because of that. And I think if that center was fixed a couple of years ago, beefed up and this metal plate and so on, it would have held the two pieces together. And these blocks out here, just they allow the plow to swivel up and down, down and up on each corner. And I think it's just a guide to allow it a certain amount of travel. Maybe there's 4 inches of travel. And it's not meant to hold the whole plow, that little end piece. It's just a pivot point for it to, and I think all the weight of the plow was pushing against this. When pushing forward, it was pushing on this side, and then when backing up, it was pulling on this part. And that's why there's so much wear here. The other plow I have, there's no wear at all here. It's just like the day it came out of the factory. And I'll do that and I'll show you what I get. That plow should have been ready before now. They were calling for snow yesterday, and sure enough we got a good, there's one of my salt box. There's a good inch on there. They said up to 5 to 10 centimeters, which is, we're in the Great White North here, and that's 5 centimeters is 2 inches. So 10 centimeters would be 4 inches of snow. That's unusual before Halloween, but we did get a little bit. So thanks for watching, and don't be shy to subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and thank you. Okay, I built that up. I'm gonna grind it flat. And over here too. Okay, here's what I what I put in the center. Got this little block. Don't ever try and cross drill through some existing holes. I should have gone with a piece with no holes. It was very difficult to get the drill bit through there. Had to be at the right speed. So anyway, there's old and crappy. There's new and improved. And this is the end result. There's the one I put in this morning. This piece has got to go in the matching part of this, which is outside right now. I got to get in the shop. And that's all welded in. In my last video, I'm going to have different parts for this video. And there'll be part 1, part 2, part 3. There might be a part 4. I think there will be all 10-minute videos. So we'll go see the outside part. Okay, I wasn't sure if this would fit because I haven't even ground the welds off nice and flat, but there's so much play in each of those ends that this actually fits right now. One side fits, the other side's a little bit too tight. Over here I can't get it in, but I think that's all I have to do. I'm just going to take the burr off this end down here, and there's a burr on the front and back, and this is where the other block, that nice square steel block, goes right in here. That bushing's completely disintegrated. Can you see that? I don't know. If I go underneath. There. It's gone. So I'll do the same with this part as I did over here. It's still nice and warm. Now, the head of the bolt goes right here. It goes right through. I can't get it through because it's not lined up. It's just not won't slide back, but that's generally what I got to do, is get that painted and back together there. I'm gonna have to bring this piece into the garage to do that part, and I think that's all I have to do to this. It should be ready for winter. Okay, so I was going to check and see how much room I had, how much space. I think this is going to be a solution here. Hard facing rods would have been the what should have been used on each of these ends, but this is not an industrial piece of equipment. It's just a little plow on a pickup truck. That'll work. They're pretty expensive hard facing rods. I don't have any, so I just used the MIG, built it up. I got to go over the rest of this now, just wire brush and sand all the rusty bits down and flatten these down a bit and slap a coat of paint on there, and this will be complete. I got a bit more work to do on the rest of it, so I'll start that. Okay, that's almost ready for paint. I've gone over the whole thing, smoothed it all out. It's a bit warm now. That should be close. I'm gonna go dry fit it again there, try it in those grooves. These ends have to fit. I got a little more sanding to do on the bottom here. I got these two parts to do over here. These are the pieces that go on the end. The hole, that's basically what lines up there. That hole's right there. And This one's identical. It's a mirror image. It's just the opposite bend. I'll give them a good sanding and painting. We'll try fitting it again and see how it looks. Okay, that's how it's supposed to go. Fits in there really nicely. And it's fairly tight. Okay, it's fitting really nicely now, but you see that little gap down there? That's supposed to be touching, which means I've got too much weld on the front side of this. And over on this side as well. There should be no gap there. These things should be pushing right against each other. It's pivoting nicely. So what I gotta do is take off more off the front and add some to the back, because I got a little gap there and a little gap. I don't know if you can see it right there. This little gap, maybe less than 1/8 of an inch, more than a 16th. Okay, so I got everything done on this. I've been trying to fit it the best I could. I built it up here with the MIG, and I built up the other side too. But I found that this side was more worn, and I had to add a lot more, another pass on top here to get it up where it's supposed to be. And here's the bushing that was in there. In my last video, I cut this out with I used a cutting disc and a grinder, and it's paper thin. I don't know what the original thickness was of this, but it certainly wasn't thick enough. And when they went to the extreme over here, this is really solid. It's made really well. And then the bushing in the middle is made of like tinfoil. But you know, it's done its duty. This plow, it's 10 years old. And this is what I've upgraded to. So I made that on the lathe. I sawed the piece out of a long piece I had, and I chucked it up in the lathe and I drilled that hole. I find it really hard on a drill press to drill a 1-inch hole or a 15/16. Or once you get up to those sizes, anything higher than about 3/4, or you know, a 1/2 inch is no problem. But as soon as you get above 1/2 inch, 9/16 probably the limit. We start to get a lot of vibration. Everything starts falling off the shelves, and so that's in. I'll turn this over. So there it is. This is the other side. You can barely see the welds. I've ground it all nice and flat, and that's that square, a cube 2x2 with a 15/16 hole. It's actually a little bigger than 15/16, and that's done. It's ready for some paint, and my next video I'll be working on the other square beam. It's the end of the day now, and I'll start that next week. I'll give you an update on something else. So I got my hoses for this little tractor. I went and had them made this morning. I'm doing a hydraulic upgrade on this tractor. It came with one control, and it's got 2 hydraulic attachments on it at all times. And you know, it's got this little angling plow on the front with one little cylinder that angles it back and forth. And on the back, on these pins back here, I have a salter mounted, a little hydraulic salter. It's got a little hydraulic motor on the side. So you need 2 hoses for the salter and a lever, and you need, you know, another pair of hoses and a lever for the plow. You can raise and lower the plow. This little lever here comes with the tractor, but in here is the lever for the hoses for the attachments. And that's an option. Some of these tractors have no hydraulics on them. So I upgraded to a second lever, so I've got one mounted in there, and I've just got to get started on this and mount the handle on it. Here's the handle. It's just it's pretty simple. So I got to stick it in the vise and bend it so it comes through the floor where it's supposed to. It's got to fit right in here. And here's an update. The future video will be I'll be doing that. And this tire here, I was saying it was about 12 inches wide. It's exactly 12 inches. And it's got to fit up inside that wheel well, and the hoses are coming right across there. I gotta make sure everything's okay. So I'll show you the snowblower. You know, in a wet snow you need a plow, because a blower won't work in wet snow, but if you get in cold snow, you're ideally a snowblower works the best. Especially when the snowbanks, around here snowbanks can get up 2 feet, 3 feet high, so the little plow won't push it over that little machine. So you blow it off. There's no snowbank when you snowblow. So there's a snowblower, and I haven't done anything to it since I showed you last time, but that's got to be all ready to go soon. And then here's the plow. I picked this up at an auction. It looks rough, but it's cosmetic. It just needs a bit of sanding and painting. So there's the hydraulic cylinder. There's 2 hoses. It's pretty simple. It raises and lowers with the mower deck. Lifts and lowers the same way as the plow. You have to put a little quick hitch on. And this thing here, this part's what they call the quick hitch. It's not too quick though. So there's the other piece. That's got to be mounted. I've got 2 of these. They call this a quick hitch, and I'm kind of making fun of it because it's not too quick. You got to pull all this apart. You got to pull the pin out. That's what locks it in place. And then this little tooth up here, that's what drops down. You drive into your the receiver part, and you pull on this. It pulls it right back, locks it in position. You put this back in. And that gets covered in ice, so it's not very quick. You need a pail of water, a propane torch, and lots of patience. It comes apart, but it's not as easy. In Florida it must work great, but around here, once it goes on, it's pretty well on there for a while. Okay, so there it is mounted on there. And it pivots. It's pivoting quite nicely there. This end here sticks a little bit. I gotta make sure it doesn't stick like that. I got a little more grinding to do, but it fits really nicely here. There was a big space there, so I had to grind a lot of that front weld off. Here's the old bushing. That was welded in there. The welds are all broken. Not much left of it. It's pretty rusty. So what my plan is now is to get this in the shop, cut this out, cut the front and back out, 2" by 2" square. That little piece I showed you in the beginning, the little square block with the round hole in the middle, that'll slip in there, weld it in place, and just like I did with this one. And I'm going to add a 3/8 plate with a hole and weld it on the front side here. And that should be ready to go. And you know, I don't see anything else needs to be fixed on this plow. I've looked it over pretty good. I'm sure there's a couple of little things I got to do to tweak it. I don't like these. The dealer put these on, and they move around too much. See that? It's moving everywhere. There should be a second plate. There should be 3 plates. There'd be 2 on one side and 1 on the other. Then your bolts are pretty. They stay straight. They don't bend like that. And you can see the head of the bolts all worn off. I don't know if you can see that head of the nut. So these break. Eventually they just break. I keep a handful of them in the truck, and I check them every storm or every 2 storms. I check them all. So I'll show you the other plow. See this one here, I added this plate here. You can see it's thicker than these 2, and I put it on the wrong spot. I shouldn't have put it down here. I should have put it on the actual plow. But it's done, and that doesn't move. That bolt doesn't wiggle at all. I didn't do this one. I should have done all of them. But, and I weld. Look at that. The nut it's completely loose there, moving around. But it's welded on there, so that won't come off. This plow is in great shape. In here, where I have the problem with the other one, it's just like new in there. There's no wear. Oops, sorry.
don't know if you can, it's hard to see there. It's some